¡Wow! ¡Qué mañana! Señoras y señores, también un líder intelectual sin duda alguna, quien quiera meterse a fondo estos temas y ser un rebelde y un contrarian, como se diría en el sentido estricto de la palabra, uno tiene que conocer a fondo a Chris Hitchens. Welcome, Chris.
Buenos dias, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming. You might not think it to look at me, but my background is a British family of the Royal Navy. And the examination for captaincy in the Navy used to be a very demanding one. You can read it in the novels of Forrester, and maybe some of you have read Jack Aubrey, getting the nautical commission. Came a day when a young man was sitting for his exam, and he was asked what he would do if a great wind got up and was blowing him towards the rocks. And he said he would tack to starboard and pile on extra sail. They said the admirals, what if the wind continues to blow you towards the rocks? And they're on the port side. He said, I continue to tack to starboard and I'd add another mainsail, or stud sail. And they asked him the question again, and he gave the same answer. And finally, one of the admirals said, where are you getting all this sail from? And the young captain-to-be said, the same place you're getting all that wind from. The relevance of my story, which you must already be asking yourself about, is this. What matters is not what you think, but how you think. And all the discoveries have been made, and all the enlightenment that's come to us is from the scientific and the philosophical method, not that of a priori assumptions of faith or the belief that wisdom comes from revelation. So now we know what the church used to tell us wasn't possible, which is that we are a primate species produced by evolution on an earth where 99.9% of all species hitherto, I won't say created, that have hitherto appeared, have already become extinct. And now a good number of religious people will now accept that, but it took them a while. And you can see the process by which they try and explain things away and then try and take credit for them. At first it was argued that God had put the fossil bones in the rock so people's faith could be tested. Nice try. Didn't last long. Then the various attempts which still go on to try and ban the good news of evolution. And then now many Christians and some Christian authorities, and some Jewish ones too, say, no, of course it did all happen, and it's amazing to look at the evidence and the extraordinary scope and variety and even beauty of it. In fact, come to think of it, it proves that God must have been even cleverer than we thought. Now you'll notice that there's something completely useless about this argument. It doesn't teach you anything, and it cannot be falsified. And an argument that supposedly explains everything invariably explains nothing at all. The physicist who discovered the Big Bang, I'm moving from evolution now, was actually a Catholic priest in holy orders and a professor at the University of Louvain. And after his quarrel with Einstein about general relativity and his hypothesis of the Big Bang, he went to the Pope and he said, look, this is how I think everything began. In fact, I think it's a sure thing. And it's very important. And the Pope said, well, if you're right, I can have it taught as dogma in the schools, if you like, so everybody has to believe it. Now, you see again the difference of method and approach. That wouldn't have been a gain for the theory of relativity or for the study of physics, to have it preached as revealed truth. We still don't know a great deal about what happened in the first instance of our cosmos. We still don't know quite how the quantum works. We know it does, we don't quite know why. And therefore, I'm going to argue in the time I have that the late, great Stephen Jay Gould, a non-believer, was wrong when he said that religion and science can be made compatible. I'm very glad that there's a counter up there. I wish you could keep your eye on it as well. Every single second, a star, like our own, the equivalent of our own, blows up and goes out. That happens every second, okay? If I keep to time, see if you can imagine this. Our brains aren't really constructed to imagine it very well. If I keep to my time, 540 great stars and suns will have vanished from the cosmos. It's a sobering thought. We're fortunate in being around to observe the continuing effects of the Big Bang and the mass destruction that it's unleashed. future generations, if there are enough of them, won't be able to observe it so well. Why is that? Because as the Hubble telescope has shown us, the man for whom the telescope was named, Edwin Hubble, was slightly wrong. He knew the Big Bang was still going on. He knew the universe was still expanding. But he thought the universe rate of expansion would start to slow. What's been discovered by studying the red light shift is to the contrary. It's blowing apart much faster than we thought, and with huge, massive swathes of actual current and potential and future destruction. Soon, two galaxies, you can already see it in the night sky. You can see the future in the sky already, not as a vision, not as a revelation, not as an omen or a portent. You can see the Andromeda galaxy coming towards you. The collision between our galaxy and Andromeda is a certainty. It's inscribed in all the laws of physics. We know it's coming. It'll destroy some stars, but it'll probably succeed in making an amalgamation. May even become the only remaining galaxy. See if you think that religion is any help to you in considering that very real and important fact. A little while before this momentous event, I'm sorry to have to report, our own star will be disqualified from taking part in the grand merger because it, along with the 540 suns that will be lost to us in the course of my remarks, will blow up and swell up and burn out, and joining its 540 predecessors. And in more proximate news, what I might call more local, more suburban news, the luminosity of our sun is increasing at a very alarming rate, and in an easily foreseeable future, the temperature of our little planet will become that of Venus. In other words, it will be completely uninhabitable. And that'll be a small, but obviously to us very interesting development, and it will complete a grand slam. So far, all the other planets in our tiny suburb of a solar system are not conditioned to support life. They're either much too cold or much too hot, as large areas of our Earth are already much too hot and much too cold. Soon we'll join the too hot club, and that'll be a complete shutdown. And some people tell you that our universe and our cosmos was fine-tuned for existence, just so we could be here. Now, on truth claims, nothing I've said could be overthrown by any evidence. All we'll find out is more about it. We don't say on non-truth claims or faith claims that we know when we don't. I'm sorry, Dinesh, atheists do not say we know there is no God. We say, to the contrary, no argument and no evidence has ever been adduced that we consider to be persuasive. There's no reason to believe in evidence or argument, ontology or science. The same with the afterlife. Of course we don't say that we know there isn't one. We say that we don't know anyone who can bring any reason to think that there is. This is a very important distinction, and it's very regrettable that you miss it. And I'm sorry to say, Dinesh, that the immediate loser in an argument about things of which we can and can't be certain, where the only thing that is certain in these laws is the principle of uncertainty, the immediate loser, the man who has to leave the island, sorry Dinesh again, right away almost, is the one who says, I already know all I need to know. I already have all the information I need. Indeed, I've been given it by a supernatural body. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but when I hear people on the bus saying that they're talking to God, well, what do? Do you move closer to that person, or am I right in thinking you edge slightly away? I think that's a very good thing. I won't be able to complete everything I wanted to say. I've saved a bit for the next 4 minutes. The argument that some finally adduce against the laws of physics and the heat death of our universe is, well, don't spread the news because it would lead people to despair. I don't want anyone to despair. We have a number of consolations. We have our own solidarity, we have love, we have literature, we have our duties to each other. What leads to despair is to live the only life one has, being told what to do by despots and crackpots and pseudoscientists who claim the right to order us around in the name of God. Humanity has to outgrow and transcend that oldest of all the tyrannies. Thank you very much.
Christopher, extraordinary, as all of you. Thank you very much.